Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Minh, and I'm currently a teacher at University of Languages and International Studies, Vietnam National University. Today, I'm going to present to you a study of mine. It compares the use of demonstratives, this, that, these, those, in argumentative essays written by Vietnamese EFL learners and native English speakers. First of all, I will talk about the motivation for me to do the research. So as you all may know, demonstratives used in most EFL teaching practice, they are classified into two ways, according to two ways. Between near, we have this, these, and far, that, those, or it can be classified into singular and plural demonstratives. However, they are more complicated than that, especially when they function in written discourse. Another important role of demonstratives in written discourse is making text references. However, in EFL context, the proper use of English demonstratives in argumentative writing remains a problem. In other research of other EFL learner groups, for example in Korea or in Taiwan, it is a problem. So it is expected that Vietnamese EFL learners share some difficulties when using demonstratives in argumentative essays. So it motivates me to do the research, and my study aims at investigating the use of English demonstratives by Vietnamese EFL learners in argumentative essays in comparison to the ones written by native English speakers in terms of proximity choice and pragmatic uses. There are two research questions that I'm going to answer in this research. The first question is, how does the use of English demonstratives regarding proximity and pragmatic uses by Vietnamese EFL learners differ from native English speakers? And the second question is, do these differences vary depending on writing proficiency levels? First, let's look at the literature review. First of all, I will talk about English demonstratives in linguistics. So actually, demonstratives is one type of deicsis. It belongs to the class of spatial or place deicsis, and it serves as a device to locate other subjects by their distance to the deictic center or the speaker. So in terms of semantics, we can have proximal and distal demonstratives. For example, I have several examples here. I like this car better than that car over there. So in this example, this and that refer to the spatial deicsis. However, in the second sentence, I like this movie better than that concert last night. Then this, that here does not refer to the physical distance anymore. It's the time distance. In example number 3, I like this candidate, which is why I didn't vote for that one. Then this here refers to something or someone that is closer to my mind, right? So it's the psychological distance. Similarly, in example number 4, this dress is less attractive than that one. Then this time it is a sequential distance. These are semantics uses. How about pragmatic? So according to Diazo, the pragmatic uses of demonstratives can also be analyzed as exophoric, anaphoric, and discourse didactic. Now for exophoric, is it my book? And accompanied by a pointing gesture, then exophoric refers to something that is not mentioned anywhere in the written discourse, but it has to have a certain background outside. Number 6, a pregnant woman has to undergo several checks. These checks are called antenatal. This is anaphoric anaphoric use of demonstratives, because these checks refer to what has been mentioned previously. Example number 7, the country is in recession that has been expected for months. That here refer to the discourse dialectic. It connects these two sentences, so it is called the discourse dialectic use of the demonstrative. Another use of demonstratives based on pragmatic is that the recognitional use, which is demonstrated in example number 8. So all in all, discourse dialectic use of demonstratives plays a crucial role in text organization and the persuasiveness effects of arguments, since it refers to higher order identity, non-nominal antecedent. So they create text reference to the writing, and it makes the argument appear as a hierarchy with layered elements. So it's very important in written discourse. In the second part of the literature review, I will talk about the studies of EFL learners' use of English demonstratives. So there are some common differences in the use between native and non-native English writers. It has been found from previous studies that EFL groups use significantly fewer demonstratives than native writers. Secondly, EFL groups overuse these two demonstrative that. Thirdly, EFL group lack text reference and have limited ability to make use of the lexical options attached to demonstratives. Still, there is a research gap here, that is a systematic analysis of 3 pragmatic uses of demonstratives following Diazo classification has not been found in any of these research. So this study will analyze 3 pragmatic uses in a very systematic way. Alright, let's look at the study design of my research. I collect essays. I collect essays which has 300 word long, and it's written on the topic, should people be allowed to obscure their identity online? My participants include 27 native English speakers and 65 Vietnamese English speakers, in which a 76 essay score above 7. I use the IELTS band score to classify the writing proficiency of these Vietnamese English speakers. So it is found that 26 essay score above 7, and I will group that into Vietnamese high score group, and 27 essays score below 5.5, and I call them Vietnamese low score essay, low score, right? And there are the other 12 will be discarded because I need to look at the differences in the use according to the proficiency level, right? So after I collect the data, the essays, I will start analyze the data. First of all, the research adopt both quantitative and qualitative analysis. First, I will do the quantitative by following 4 steps. First of all, I will identify and classify proximal demonstratives and distal demonstrative. After that, I will classify them into 3 pragmatic uses: exophoric, anaphoric, and discourse dialectic use. I use SPSS and ANOVA test and Turkey post-hoc test to find out the difference in the frequency of demonstratives appearing in those data. After doing the quantitative analysis, I will start with the qualitative analysis. investigate all cases and extract prominent examples to find out the differences in the using pattern of these three groups. Okay, here comes the results of the study. First, regarding overall frequencies, it can be found from, as you can see from the table. The table shows the mean difference in the use of demonstratives between three groups. If you look at the difference between Vietnamese high score and Vietnamese low score, there isn't any much different. But when you look at the difference between native English speaker and Vietnamese high score group, it has some difference here, very clear. And the difference, it's even more when you look at native English speaker and Vietnamese low score group. So it can be concluded that native English speakers use statistically more demonstratives than both groups of Vietnamese English speakers. And the gap between native and non-native English writers decreases when writing proficiency increases. The second finding of the results relates to the use of proximal and distal demonstratives regarding proximity, the use of demonstratives regarding proximity. It is a common trend between all three groups is that proximal demonstratives, these are much more preferred than distal demonstratives, those, as you can see from the graph here. So regarding the frequency of proximal demonstratives, these, the difference between native English speaker and Vietnamese high score group is not significant, but the difference between native English speaker and Vietnamese low score group is statistically significant. And the lack of proximity form of demonstratives here can be considered one of the contributing factors to less effective arguments in low score essays. Regarding distal demonstratives, there is no difference in the frequency between three groups. All three groups make good employment of distal demonstratives to express psychological distance of the reference with the writer. The second, the third results will concern the use of exophoric, anaphoric, and discourse directive demonstratives. So in all three groups, demonstratives are mostly employed to point to reference expressed by proposition, and exophorics is the least used function. Here you can see the anaphoric. Now, first of all, exophoric use. The exophoric use can be detected with the template expression, this essay will blah blah blah, often used by Vietnamese English speakers, but not preferred by native English speakers. For the anaphoric use of demonstratives, native English speakers use significant more demonstratives to refer to previous noun phrase than both Vietnamese English speakers group. And this can be attributed to a noticeable lack in the diversity of vocabulary and structures employed by Vietnamese English speakers. For discourse didactic use of demonstratives, although Vietnamese English speakers are able to employ demonstratives to make text reference and connect sentences, they do not seem to utilize an extended source of vocabulary useful for indicating writers' attitudes in argumentative essays. Those are the results that I found from my study. From the results I have found, the implications are there should be official instruction on demonstratives with their pragmatic uses to EFL learners. And the role of demonstratives in making text reference also needs to be paid close attention to. For example, teachers can provide sample essays with detailed analysis to the students to raise awareness of the students about the role of demonstratives in making text reference. The third implication is that vocabulary and structure, especially evaluating adjectives, need to be enriched through lots of practice, while such template expression as this essay will blah 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 should not be put in frequent use. The study, of course, have some limitations, which are limited number of participants and insufficient data collection instrument. So it is suggested that if there's any author want to investigate in demonstratives, they can work with bigger number of participants from different colleges in various areas, and they can investigate the students' use of a demonstrative before and after some treatment, for example. Thank you for listening, and this is the end of my presentation.